If we could have that mindset in everything that we do, we would have so many more opportunities to reach people.
Hey friends, this season of Mission Viewfinder will give you a peek into our recent furlough to the U.S., our home country, but not our home.
One of the people that we got to visit was a close friend of mine, Sabrina. She had spent some time in Thailand, and we wanted to ask her what her thoughts were now on that experience. So Sabrina, tell me just a little bit about when you went to Thailand.
So I went there in 2013 and 2014. I was there for about 7 months, spread out over a couple of trips. And the first time I went, I was only 17. The second time I was 18. I was teaching English. I got there, and I think the first week I shadowed you for about a day or two, and then I was on my own with 4 different classes.
What kind of impact would you say being in Thailand for those 6 or 7 months had on you? And would you recommend it to somebody else?
Absolutely, I definitely recommend it. I think those months in Thailand really shaped the direction of my life. I often look back and I wonder, why is it that I have chosen to remain a Christian? Why did I stay in the church? And I think a big part of it is the opportunity that I had to do mission work and just to see the need. And through that experience, I realized my own need of God.
So is there any specific experience that you look back on that's that was definitely a shaping moment for you when you were there?
There were definitely a few. Even just when I first got there and I realized what I had gotten myself into and that I was gonna have to try to fill 4-hour-long class sessions. But I remember being in my hut and feeling so nervous and stressed out about what was ahead of me, and I just knelt down and prayed, because I realized this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where my faith in God becomes real. And God gave me such a peace through that experience. And it doesn't mean that it became a lot easier after that, but He was definitely carrying me through that. And I learned to depend on Him so much more. I also realized that just because you go to the mission field, it doesn't mean that your life suddenly becomes perfect. And I think I had this romanticized picture of mission work, and I thought it was just going to be me over there loving on children.
Right.
And God showed me so much of myself and areas in which I needed to grow that I didn't even realize. But one of the experiences that had the biggest impact on me was a situation in which there was a student who was really struggling, and he was at a crossroads in his own life, not sure if he wanted to follow God or if he wanted to do what his family wanted him to do. And actually, you were part of this experience. You and I started praying for that student every morning at 3:30 in the morning. And it was such a perspective change for me, because my focus went away from myself and onto what God could do in that student's life. And it really changed the way that I viewed prayer. I don't think I've ever seen prayer answered in such a tangible way.
It was amazing.
Just to see the way God changed the life of that student. Over time, he went through a whole transformation and became such a powerful missionary for God, and still is today. So that was definitely one of the most life-changing experiences for me. And coming back from Thailand, I knew that I could not just live an ordinary life. I needed to be involved in ministry in some way or another. Another experience that really impacted me was on my second time in Thailand. I had a student, and she was lonely. I was struggling again. I felt a little bit alone. And I remember she was wrestling with a lot from her past. She'd had a difficult childhood, and she was questioning whether she believed in God or not. But we connected really well, and I prayed for her a lot, and I could see that there was spiritual interest there. I ended up going back to Thailand a few years later, And she was just a transformed person. She had this love for other people in her, and such a desire to share about Jesus with the villagers up in the mountains. And it was just amazing to see how God had worked that transformation in her life, and I think maybe I got to have a little part in that just through our friendship. One thing I realized in Thailand, more than anything else, one of the most meaningful things in life is just the connection that you build with people and how that impacts their lives. That's what makes the biggest difference here too. It's the relationships that we build with people, and I think if we could have that mindset in everything that we do, we would have so many more opportunities to reach people.